Hi, everybody. I wanted to show you a little bit about where I live. So I've been living in Boulder the past 6 months. This is my backyard. This is our sauna. It's a really, really nice place. And why I was called here was because it was so embedded into the outdoors. And literally the whole house is just windows into this scene right here. Yeah, it's really, really nice. And what I wanted to actually speak about was why outdoors is so important to me and how it's changed my life. One thing is an earlier video that wrote about of just what the outdoors do in terms of healing you, taking away built up feeling and tension in your body, as well as recalibrating your hormones and bringing you back into balance. That's an earlier video. For me, what being outside helps me with is my relationship to death, my relationship to life, and really holding the edge of that. I love through hiking and backpacking because it shows me how vulnerable my life is, how finite my life is, how close I am to dying really all the time. But when we're hooked up to sinks and bathrooms and refrigerators, we don't realize that our life is always on a timer. And when you're outdoors and you only have 3 power bars left and another 20 miles to go, you'll realize how precious and how finite your energy is. And one thing that comes to mind is this moment that I had in Alaska where I was camping out on this island. I was totally by myself, in the wilderness, and I woke up to this sound outside of my tent, and I knew it was an animal, and I was trying to calm myself down and just tell myself, okay, it's a bird. It's just a bird. It's a bird on a branch. I'm hearing the branches move. It's just a bird. And I stayed in my tent for another hour and a half, 2 hours. And mom and dad, please don't listen to the rest of this video if you're watching this. But I was just listening to this sound. And what ended up happening was after I stayed in my tent for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I started having this thought of connection, like connection is so important. Connection so important. Connection so important. And of poop there, which is basically an animal's way of saying, I see that you're here. This is my territory. Get out, which is really nice. They're giving you a warning. Pretty cool in the animal world that they give out warnings. So it was just a warning for this animal. I took a mental picture of what kind of animal it was just based on looking at its poop. And that when I went back into the real world, I would find out what kind of animal gave me this really nice, pleasant, please get off my island right now, fuck you message. And got back into my canoe, packed up all my stuff, and finished the wilderness trek that I was doing. And when I got back into the real world and I looked it up, it was a moose, which moose are massive, massive animals that are very territorial and very, very, very ferocious. And they trample you usually. They usually don't give out warnings. So that was really special that it didn't kill me right away. But that thought that came up when I heard it outside of my tent was connection, which was I have to start living with more connection in my life. And it just brought me to the edge of what am I not helping myself with? What am I not opening myself up to? And that was in last August, almost a year ago. And I've been practicing connection since then and really learning how to speak more vulnerably, speak more directly, communicate with more honesty. And it's helped my relationships a lot. And it's been a year filled with that. So I find that when we put ourselves in places that help us really feel our aliveness by showing us how easy it is to die, it helps us just really get clear of where am I living in integrity and where am I not. So being outside for me is not just something I like to do, it's something that's imperative for me, for my life, for my ability to feel alive, for my ability to want to live, for my ability to enjoy and appreciate my life. It's such an important part of the way that I move through this world is spending time out in nature and pushing myself in ways every time I go out on a trek, it's something different, something that I haven't tried before. And I met this one woman who she picked me up in a hitch while I was also in Alaska. And she's a doctor, she's an oncologist. And she says people come in on Monday feeling okay, and by Thursday they're dead, not knowing they had cancer, and it's so quick. And she's like, I don't want to die in a hospital. I want to die, and I want my last words to be, oh shit, because she's out and climbing and adventuring and doing all of these extreme sports. And she knows how precious her life is. And that's why she's living like that, because she actually wants to open herself up to all the experiences that she's willing to risk her life, because it's worth it for her, as opposed to just staying stagnant or staying safe, as I like to say, like staying safe and just becoming routine in this world inside of four walls. So my point in all of this is just saying why I love nature so much, why it helps me get really clear on what my values are. It helps me reconnect to myself. It helps me reconnect to life. And it helps me develop a relationship to my death that's beautiful and healthy and loving. That when I go, as Mary Oliver calls it, like when I go, I don't want to feel like I was just a visitor in this world, but I actually lived in it. And yeah, not recommending everybody to do it. So take whatever you want from this message, and what do I need to do to live more